I'm here. I'm here in my home. I am the first non-musical presenter they've ever had, so we're going to see how this works. And on the wall behind me, you will see a tribute to a historical time when we could be near each other. Lots of pictures of us being near each other. Anyway, not having me sing was a good choice by the lead center. And so I was trying to think about how can you do stand-up comedy live without an audience? And I thought, well, what if we brought in people and had a conversation, just had some fun? And so that's what we're going to do tonight, because this is an important time. Humor is so important during this stressful time. And the good news is you were all born with a sense of humor. You remember when you were a child and you would get the giggles? Uncontrollable giggles. And the funnier, the madder your parents got at you, the funnier it was. Well, that's inside of you. So we're going to try to call that out tonight. But I'm going to do that with some special guests, and I want to introduce them to you now. My first guest is Art Ziegelbaum, who actually is a retired rocket scientist. He was with NASA for 30 years, and then he came to UNL and was a professor. Now he's retired from that. And he's just the all-around good guy. He's the president-elect for the lead statewide advisory board. And he's just an officious interloper, actually. So that's what he's with us tonight. Art, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Very good seeing you. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm sure you're going to bring wonderful insight in. So, as along with some puns, I understand. So I'm excited about that. Our next guest is Jill St. James, who you've heard on KFOR and the Eagle 90.29, superstar radio personality who's got her finger on the pulse of the city, so she'll be adding in. Thanks, Jill, for coming.
You're welcome. I kind of like that superstar thing you got going on. I like it. Can I add that to my business card?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll tell people. I'll spread it.
Okay.
And our third guest is Joe Scar. Now, on your screen, if his name's there, it looks like Scare. And he's not really scary. He's a Scar guy. Anyway, he is the brilliant morning show personality from Jenna and Joe on B107. So we've got everybody covered. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Oh, gosh, look at us. We look like the Brady Bunch. Let's look at each other like the Brady Bunch. Look. How do we do that? There we go. There you go. There. Only we're the Brady Bunch. So here's the deal, you guys. I do a lot of studying of humor, and the interesting thing is that laughing for 15 minutes a day has the same effect on your respiratory system and your heart as laughing has as much effect as jogging for 15 minutes a day. So let's make a choice on that, should we? Laughing, jogging?
No jogging.
So 3.2 miles I just did today, I could have just sat home and laughed and watched some of your videos on YouTube or something.
That's what you could have done.
And you would have been less out of joint, too.
And you don't need special clothes for laughing. So it's a good economical decision. In fact, I recommend doing it in the nude. Watching the show in the nude, that would be an interesting visualization. You know what would be fun? Because I know you guys are writing into us on the side. Tell us where you're watching from, because it'd be fun to see what states are tuning in. Let's see if we get coast to coast. So, somebody wants to hear me sing. Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. All right. So anyway, we got to find humor in our situation. And so I was looking at all the different things, because when we humorize things, we depersonalize them. And so, for example, I needed help when they first came out with the term flattening the curve. I thought they were talking to me. I did that personally. I had to recognize that it wasn't about me. In fact, you guys, you notice that the camera does add 10 pounds when you get on the screen, except my 10 pounds is below the screen that's showing. So what do you guys think about that? Oops, I just lost my little ear thing popped out. Okay, so tell me about what, do you think did you take that flattening the curve thing seriously, or was it just me?
I think it was just you.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty normal, actually. Because I look at the world from a comedy point of view. So it's so I look at things a little differently, right? Like the first time I heard the term community spread, church dinner.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So Anyway, what do you think? What do you think? Community spread could mean these are words that are being transformed for us, and now we're going to have to use them again. So, what do you think? Is there any word that really caught your ear, or any new terminology?
Well, Julie, the COVID-19 is a little bit like flattening the curve. The 19 pounds that you are getting at home, that you're putting on, like the freshman 20. Only this is COVID-19.
That's because you're feasting at the community spread. I just think community spread to me, a big feast somewhere in the community. Where can I find this thing?
That's right.
I thought they were talking about peanut butter.
Yeah. Okay, so I was thinking potato salad, baked beans.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Casserole. Yeah. So anyway, people from all over. Did you see that? We got people from all over Nebraska checking in. That's awesome. Art, you were going to say something brilliant.
Oh, I'm just curious. Are people putting on weight or taking it off? Is this spread for real?
Oh, it's for real, Art. Trust me.
Well, you come out of this with a much better foundation then.
Nice.
That's true. I'm just so worried that when we get back to work, people are going to forget to put their pants on.
Some of us will skirt that issue.
So it's going to be a whole new fashion. People will be out there with pajama bottoms on, and
it's a new business casual. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, new business casual. So
yeah,
because this is what happens when these big crises happen. We have to find ways to live within them, and and figure out how to adjust. Because people don't remember, like there was a time when we didn't have to take our shoes off at the airport. And trust me, the TSA appreciated that. So now they're making you take your shoes off and taking your temperature. So that's a good thing. So, all right. So here's another word. I'm going to bring you another word. Sheltering in place. Now, before sheltering in place, anything in place meant staying still to me. So when they started saying sheltering in place, I thought, seriously? I have to sit in the same place the whole time? But I'm not sure that's what they meant when they came up with that term.
Yeah, you can't move. You got to stay in one place, and then you got to hold an umbrella or something over your head. Get yourself some shelter. It didn't make much sense.
Running in place. Setting in place, and now we're sheltering in place. So,
am I the only person that continuously thinks about the Rolling Stones when people say that?
Shelter. And
yeah, exactly.
Why is it sheltering in place and not just go home or stay home?
Right.
The first time I heard that, I was the same way. I was like, what does that mean?
I thought of a movie, Helter Shelter.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
All kinds of things. Do you think there's like some committee sitting on Zoom somewhere going, let's throw a new word out this week? Keep them entertained with new terminology. So, okay. Here's another new one that hasn't been around before. Essential workers. God bless the essential workers, but we've never heard that term before. And it's kind of weird after having a 35-year career doing the same thing to find out I'm not essential anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Aren't we all essential to our jobs? Yeah, for sure.
I think everybody's essential. So,
but the Easter Bunny and was it the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus that were deemed essential by the Prime Minister of Australia or something right before Easter? She came out and made sure that the kids knew that the Easter Bunny was an essential worker. So
yeah, that was New Zealand, but you're absolutely right. How about the Tooth Fairy?
I was close.
Yeah, you were close. That's good.
I was in the hemisphere.
That's right. Yeah, I think, as they're opening things up, to be honest, I was very surprised. I realized how out of touch with society I was when, the tattoo parlors were one of the first things to open up because I didn't realize the essentialness of that. Do you guys all have a tattoo?
No, but haircut, that was essential to me. Yes.
Yes. But am I wrong? Didn't tattoo parlors open before salons?
No, about the same time.
Oh, about the same time.
Yeah.
So, I'm just I'm just thinking there's some contact in tattoo parlors, but since I've never gone, I don't know. But now that I know it's essential, I want to be part of the world, so I'll find something.
Are you going to get a tattoo now?
I think I might get a tattoo now.
What kind of tattoo do you think you might get?
That's an interesting question. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
All right.
Because
and more important, where will you get it?
What'd you say?
I said, more important, where will you get it?
Where are you talking about? Which body part or which tattoo parlor?
Take your pick.
Well, I try to be, involved in spreading things around, not like community spread, but so maybe I'll have a piece of it done at each tattoo parlor. And at the end, we'll all be surprised at what it looks like.
Yeah, right now I have no inkling.
No?
Oh, there you go.
I have no inkling, but I have the body mass. That's a possibility. So anyway. So, excuse me. All right. So want to go with another word?
Sure.
Okay. Did you know that social distancing was first physical distancing and catch on? And so now it's social distancing.
I did not know that.
Well, isn't that an oxymoron? Social distancing?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, what else do I say to that, though?
I know. The first time I heard it, I was like, wait a minute. When you're being social, maybe I'm more social than other people. You know what? To tell you the truth, I miss hugging a lot. I'm a big hugger. And I'm sure a lot of people are glad that I'm out of commission now. But I have... I'm thinking about opening, as I redefine myself, since we probably can't have humorous speeches for a while, I'm thinking about opening like a hugging clinic. And then the people that would be involved there, actually, Jill, your husband would, because he gives the best man hugs. Jill lets me borrow him once in a while for a man hug. Anyway, I figure, if we all got hazmat suits. And then as the people came in, they put on a hazmat suit. Don't you think that's a possibility for a new career?
Sure. Why not? Did you see there was a lady who wanted to go visit her mother at the assisted living home? I forget what state it was in. Art probably knows. But the lady put on one of those giant hippopotamus suits, like an inflatable hippopotamus suit, and went to see her mother. And they brought her mother out from the assisted living, and they were able to hug. And so
right.
It wasn't like a hazmat suit, but it was a hippo suit.
Yeah, I heard that people did it with alligator blow-up suits too.
Yeah.
So,
I like the Tyrannosaurus Rex suits.
I saw
Don't
that.
you think that don't you think we should all go to concerts in a Tyrannosaurus Rex? Just thousands of them.
Yeah. I'm a little worried if you type blow-up suit in Google.
Yeah.
But maybe that's a big new industry that's going to take off so that I could get a job there. I heard the pizza delivery places are hiring too, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, so I loved it when I was out traveling because people, when they heard I was from Nebraska, sometimes most people like on the coast didn't know where Nebraska was, which I thought was interesting. But then if they did know where Nebraska was, it was because of the football team. And whatever happened with the football team affected me while I was out. So in like Missouri and Iowa and places like that, I got booed on my way up when they found out I was from Lincoln, Nebraska. And I would say, are you booing me because I'm a Husker? And they would say, yes. And I'd say, well, I never actually played for the team. Yeah. But thanks for looking at me and thinking that I might have. That's such a compliment. So anyway, so I'm not sure, maybe the football players could wear blow up things. Or maybe somebody could design a bodysuit, surely. Don't you think?
For football players?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A full body suit so that they could go out and play.
Kind of like a costume ball.
There we go.
A sumo wrestler suit.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that when spit and blood flies, or if that happens in football, then there's no problem there, right?
Right.
So, yeah, right. I also know the terms that they came up with the word self started getting thrown around, like self-isolating. So,
Sounds
people
erotic.
It does. It's a little weird, self-isolating. I think that means that if somebody's sick in your house, they go to the basement, doesn't it? And then you just put a meal at the top of the step for
Doesn't
them.
self-isolating, isn't that a psychological problem? You're just out of touch with yourself.
That could be. Yeah. So, people are asking who would wear a concert suit already. The music festivals and clubs are taking a survey on what we're talking about. That's how fast things are moving.
Yeah.
And everybody's online. Things are like boom, boom, fast. So somebody said they've seen people in large bouncing balls. I'm not going to give you guys that one because there are too many things.
No, that would be opening a door. That would be bad.
That would take us to the wrong side of things. So, but the other thing is that they also are throwing around the term self-monitoring, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure, but I think we were supposed to be doing that always, weren't we? Monitoring ourselves, but
Some of us are better at that than others.
yeah.
I'll vote for that.
Or do we now have to like wear a device with a camera pointing at us? And does it have to be on the concert suit?
I would think so. It would have to be. You have to know what's going on inside.
Yeah, self-monitoring.
The nice thing about those concert suits, they made sure that they had the helmet designed so that people could get something to eat and vape.
Those are important things to remember.
I mean, I understand the eating and the drinking thing, but I don't know. Just struck me.
God bless all the people who made face masks. I mean, immediately everybody went to their sewing machines. That was just awesome. And it's fun to see all the different face masks that are out there. That's fun. I have just a regular plain one here for me right now. Just so in case you see me out in public, this is me. There you go.
Recognize you when we see you.
You can recognize me. Here's what I'm wondering when I'm out like grocery shopping and see people in face masks. What are they doing behind the face mask? That's what I want to know. Are they sticking their tongue out at me? I don't know. Are they blowing me a kiss? I don't know.
We feel like we're all robbing a bank.
Yeah. You can't even go in a bank now because how can they let you in? Everybody's got a face mask on. Here's the interesting thing. This is what I think we should do. And I, unfortunately, am going to say it out loud and somebody will do it before me. I hope they give me credit. I think the mask should now be designed with a face on them. Like wasn't it Lay's potato chips that had you hold the bag up and had the different facial expressions on them? I think so that you can let people know what kind of mood you're in that day. And then people will know not to talk.
Draw a smiley face on it if you're feeling good, and then flip it over if you have a bad day.
How about the electronic version? You just bring up an emoji on your phone and it appears.
That would be it. So we have to make it with a screen. Screen imitating our face. So that would work. I suppose people are going to start promoting things on their face masks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Probably dental work would probably be a good thing to promote on face masks. What else? Lip gloss.
Sure.
That kind of stuff. I don't know. Is this going to put Listerine and stuff out of business?
They might make a mint.
I actually heard about something called mask knee. It's acne that you get because of your mask when you wear it during the hot summer months.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So in our little feed over here, it says somebody's already designed masks with clear plastic over the mouth.
So,
yeah, and they were talking about how Little Red is a blow-up character that we could all dress up. Could you see
we could all go to the game.
The entire stadium full of Little Reds?
That would be great.
Amazing. Nose hair trimmers, somebody suggested.
Yeah.
Would be a good one. Great idea. Thanks, Randy. Listen, we're getting people from Nevada, California, North Carolina. So you know what, you guys, we just made it coast to coast. Nevada's not on the coast, but North Carolina and California are on the coast. So we made it from coast to coast. So, somebody also said that selfies already have self-monitoring covered. That's true. That's true. That we were already doing it. Now we're just giving it a definition and a term. So
Yeah.
So the thing is that happening is like I live here with my cat, and I told these guys, I'm gonna tell everybody now. I had a really bright red shirt on that I was gonna wear ahead of time, and my cat threw up on it right before we went on air. So I was thinking that's a good sign. Because weren't we talking about like bird poop is a good sign? So
Yes.
Yeah.
Good luck. Mm-hmm.
Well, I did point out on your cat that his barf is much worse than his bite.
That's true. Well, hey, so of course, the cat now is locked in her room. But I'm here living in this house alone, and so I didn't have a cat for a while. All I had were fish, and they don't respond well. They don't cuddle. It's just, I mean, seriously.
And they won't wear their mask either.
And they don't wear their mask. That's right. And they don't social distance. I mean, it was just kind of stressful for me. So I actually got a cat a week ago, and of course she's already running the house. But boy, that's really nice. But she really wants to snuggle and get in there and snuggle. So, but she's still a little startly. And she was in my lap last night, and I sneezed, and she jumped about 3 feet in the air and ran back to her room. So I can't have visitors yet anyway, so it's probably good that we're sheltering in place so she can get used to. So, oh, somebody just wrote that they're drinking a shot of whiskey for each pun. Go, Art, go. Oh, hey, the masks with the clear plastic were designed to help hearing impaired folks. That's awesome.
That is great.
Yeah.
Oh, Virginia Beach just checked in, Virginia. So there, yeah. So I think, obviously somebody once said to me, Julie, don't you take life seriously? And I'm going to tell you that I take life very seriously. I just do it with a sense of humor. I try to find, and everybody could do that, because laughing burns calories for one thing. So if you want to avoid the community spread in COVID-19, laughing every day can help you. And plus, people that live in are sheltering together in place, that's got to be a little stressful. It just reminds me of my mom and dad. God bless them. They're both passed now. But when my dad retired and came home permanently, my mom said that they were blissfully happy for 10 minutes. His nerves. So when you lock people in the same house for 3 months, I mean, how does that work? You guys have people with you. How's that working out?
Let me ask her.
Bring her in.
Sorry, Joe.
For me, it's not been a whole lot different, except for the kids are home all the time.
Oh, kids, I love kids.
Coming into the office, and my wife has always worked from home, so she's always home, and it's just weird having the kids there all the time. No school.
What do you do to keep them entertained?
Fortunately for me, they're both teenagers, so they kind of keep themselves entertained.
So they were already social distancing from you before this started.
Self-isolating
from us anyway. It's like they don't want to be around their parents, but yeah, it hasn't been that different for me particularly, except for like you said earlier, you miss the hugging and the touching and stuff. You get that with your family, but with everybody else, it's different. But
yeah. And you really have to not be offended when you're like walking down the sidewalk, taking a walk, and somebody's walking toward you and they steer right around you. That's not personal. Once again,
I'm impressed at that. It's like the game of Frogger. Remember when we used to play that for a quarter way back when? People are doing that now.
Yeah.
Try not to run into each other.
Somebody who knew my mom just wrote in that They think she was exaggerating about the 10 minutes. It went that long. Also, Connecticut's in the house now with us, so that's great. And somebody from Hawaii, but now lives in Belden, so I'm not sure if that counts, that we made it all the way to Hawaii, but it counts that you're here. So that's great. Aloha. All right, let's talk about other things. Hey, you guys, before we do that, you radio people are essential personalities, aren't you? I mean, your personalities, you're essential workers.
That's what they tell us, right, Joe?
That is what you tell me. In fact, I have a little sheet of paper that they gave me that I had to carry in my car with me, and I would put it up there on the dashboard in case I got pulled over on the way to work at 3 a.m, or 4 a.m, or going home. But they deemed us essential, and it kind of feels good to be essential for a change.
Wow.
I was a little disappointed that I couldn't use my little piece of paper. Nobody pulled me over.
I know. Me too. I'm like, I had that piece of paper that expired yesterday, right? Did yours?
It did?
Yeah. Well, I did. I don't know if it's yours.
I need to get a new one.
I hope I don't get pulled over on the way home tonight.
Who gives you a piece of paper? Do you guys just write? You pull a paper towel out of the thing and write down. I mean, who does that?
Well, the boss here gave it to me. It looks official, but they could have been playing a joke on me for all I know. Yeah, it looks pretty official, but anyway.
That's wild. So, what about you, Art? Are you essential?
No, I'm totally unessential. I'm sort of retired, so I'm self-isolating, sort of.
Yeah. My older brother said that he's been self-isolating for about 30 years, so it wasn't the same for him. So that's kind of interesting. So I'm just thinking, I misunderstood. The person from Belden, Nebraska is actually out in Hawaii right now.
Oh.
Man, that's brilliant. The order's coming down. We're going to close down travel. And you have to stay somewhere. Get to Hawaii. That's brilliant. So that's awesome. Yeah. West Point. Hi, cactus friend. Okay. So, anyway. All right. Well, let's see. I'm looking at other things. The PPE thing. The personal protective equipment.
It needs to have a different name, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We used to use those in high school, didn't we?
Well, that's why I heard that. A school was excited because they offered a class to explain the PPE online, and then they found out people signed up for it because they thought it was something else. They didn't realize it was personal equipment. So, yeah, pretty crazy. So you guys, I'm originally from Hardington, Nebraska. Does anybody know what that is? There are a bunch of people watching from Hardington. Hi, Hardington. Where are you guys from originally?
We're from California.
Oh, wow. Well, you got people watching from California.
Yeah, we immigrated here in 1998.
In 98, you came to Nebraska? Is NASA in California, or did you work off-site?
Well, they have centers all over.
Do they?
Houston, and I was the one in Pasadena, California, Jet Propulsion Laboratory.
Aha.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, but we love Nebraska. We're totally converted. We wouldn't move back for anything.
I love it. What about you, Jill? Where are you from originally?
Nowhere nearly as attractive as California, but yeah. Originally from Wilsonville, Nebraska, out southwest of Nebraska, about 4 hours from here. Came here for college and just never left.
And we're glad. We're glad you did
Thank
that.
you.
Joe?
I'm from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I've lived in Lincoln longer than I've lived anywhere, and I love it here. So, yeah.
When I'm out traveling, I really am surprised how many people don't know where Nebraska is. And I had somebody once ask me if we lived next to the Indians, and I said, we do. And we live next to a lot of different people like you do. And then somebody asked me if we had computers in Nebraska.
My mother once called and asked if we had heat in the house.
There we go. Well, the computer person, I said we do. We do have computers in Nebraska. And I said, and we're very excited because next year we're getting indoor plumbing.
Thank God. Yes.
To be honest, if they're that stupid, we don't really want them coming here anyway. So.
Well, I want you to know I just bought my hybrid covered wagon.
Yeah,
You have a touchscreen dashboard?
yeah, there you go. I'll tell you, somebody told me that when they said that they were going to do 6 feet for physical distancing or social distancing, that the people in Montana said, "Isn't that a little close?" I love that story. So
That's great.
So somebody was asking if chocolate is essential. What do you think about that, you guys?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, definitely.
No doubt.
Yeah.
That means that the people that are making the chocolate are essential workers as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Somebody just asked if I lived in a sod house. I'm going to say not after the cleaning crew comes through, no.
No.
Before that, it can be a little soddy from time to time, so... people are asking, do you have Prince Albert in a can? How is that? Somebody's going to ask me if my refrigerator's somebody wants to know if Art's wagon is autonomous.
No, I didn't put any name on it at all.
There you go. All right, let's see if we're missing anything. Shelter becoming a driver, flattening the curve, a bunch of workers. Ooh, the super spreader.
What?
I'm sorry. I know that that's a person who's made a lot of people sick, and I that's a terrible thing. But to me, it just sounds like, I came from the farm, so we spread a lot of manure. My brothers will tell you that I didn't spread any manure; they had to do it. But because I was,
I used to go to Washington a lot. There was a lot of that there.
A super spreader. So there we go. Yeah. And then what about elective procedure? What's the first thing that comes to mind if you have an elective procedure?
Isn't that when I registered to vote?
Oh, somebody asked somebody once if they could see the Rockies from Lincoln. And I don't think they're talking about that old pizza place that was in town. Wasn't there a pizza place in town called Rock?
I don't remember. Maybe a baseball card shop, but that's it.
Was it Rocky Rococo? Wasn't that a pizza place?
That was it.
Rocky Rococo, yes.
Yeah.
See,
We can see that in Lincoln. Yeah.
My brother just wrote in that I didn't deal with manure until I started doing comedy for a living. Thanks, John. Thanks for hanging in there with me. That's great.
I guess John would like to be a comedian too.
Yeah.
And Paul says if you have an elective procedure, you could definitely see the Rockies from here. His definition of elective, I guess, is different too. To be honest with you, I know that that's things like, heart bypass and stuff like that. But when you first hear it, I mean, don't you kind of think facelift? I mean, that's what when I think of elective, making a choice. Yeah. That's why I was kind of surprised when the tattoo parlors and elective procedures were open up first, because I was like, okay, good, I can get a tattoo and that Botox I'm wanting to get. But I know that's essential to some people. So anyway. Okay, so somebody saw me a long time ago. Yeah. We were going to Omaha. This is a story that somebody's just telling. Our plane was delayed for several different reasons, and the last time we were there in the St. Louis, it was TWA. Do you guys remember TWA?
Sure.
So we were delayed. I haven't told this story forever, and I've got friends in St. Louis. Hi, St. Louis friends. Anyway, I was delayed I think we were there for at least 8 hours waiting to go. And the problem was at the end that the crew that was supposed to fly us were on over hours. So they had to get a new crew in. So at the end, we were waiting for a crew. So when I heard that, I thought, I fly a lot. I can help with this. And I asked other people there, if they flew a lot. And we put a crew together. We practiced, put a mask on before you help your kid. Stuff. We practiced all of it. And then we got in line to go up to the clerks, who were at that point starting to get a little crabby because everybody was yelling at them all day. And they said, "Can I help you?" And I went like this to the people behind me, and they spread out, and we auditioned to be the crew of the plane. Well, everybody started laughing so hard. It was very funny, but it didn't work. And so we did go back, though, and some guy had a John Deere cap, and we put money in it, and we tried to bribe crews that were walking by to fly that, and that didn't work. But then a crew flew in at like 1 o'clock, and they still had hours left. So they said that they would take us because they had heard that we were this great, having such a great time at our gate while we were waiting to fly. So we got on the plane, and they got up and they did their announcements and everything. And then the pilot said, "Welcome to your flight to Oahu." And we all went, "Oh!" And we were like, "What the hell?" We're going to St. Louis. Let's go. So anyway, that's what I mean. You always have to try to find, you have to try to find the humor and stuff, because the stuff you can't control. We can't control everything in our lives, but we can always control our response. And even if our first response is a negative jerk, the next one has to be how can we make this a positive thing? How can we make it work? So anyway, that's what we have to do. So have you guys got anything you want to bring to the table or talk about, any interesting experiences?
I can do a little experiment for people. This is something I just learned. If you have like a couple of seconds,
Sure.
If you hold up your hand and look at your hand, and then look at your ring finger and your pointer finger, right?
Mhm.
If the study just came out, they just studied 180,000 people, and if you have a ring finger that is longer than your pointer finger, you have much less of an opportunity, or much less likelihood of dying from COVID-19 coronavirus. And if you do get it, your symptoms will be a lot less. You'll have milder symptoms if your ring finger is longer than your pinky or your pointer finger, which for many people it isn't. But for me, I'm lucky my ring finger's longer.
What about Jill? Yours is longer, isn't it? Or no, it's about the same.
It's about the same. So I have a 50-50 shot. Thanks, Joe.
Well, I have some bad news for you. The study,
no.
like I said, 180,000 people, 41 countries. It worked for men. For women, it made no difference.
That's right.
Men, if your ring finger's longer than your pinky. So check it out.
I want to know who came up with that study. What person sat around and thought the size of your fingers dictate whether or not you're going to get sick? Who did that?
I don't. They had to have done it, relatively recently. They had to have gathered 80,000 people over.
But wait a minute, if I'm a philanthropist, though, would I have to give you the finger?
Well, I'm trying to figure out why they decided those two fingers, and if you were supposed to read between the lines.
Maybe it might have been a whole bunch of nothing.
Something, yeah. Get it? Read between. That's more of an art thing.
Some guys just taking another shot of whiskey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to get them drunk.
Well, I'm hoping that everybody will continue to reach out and try to find humor. You know what's wonderful that's happening that I see? The people that are out and about. First of all, I didn't know so many dogs lived in the neighborhood. That's a new thing. But and I'm talking about walking dogs. Now, I'm not talking about my neighbors. I love my neighbors, but they all have dogs. I didn't know that. So then the other thing is that people are actually talking to each other through those masks, or when they're 6 feet apart. And it used to be when people were out walking, they just go, "Hey, hi, what's up?" That's it, and keep walking. But now they're having a conversation. And I know that people get a little scared when they walk by my house because I'm so desperate for conversation. I'm sitting out there waiting for them to walk by. "Hi, what's your dog's name? Hi, So, I'm a little. So anyway. All right, listen, we actually are getting toward. Can you believe it's already our time's almost already up?
Wow.
So this little experiment. I guess we can do comedy online.
Hey.
Live. I mean, nobody's done it before. This is a Lead Center first. And I think in the beginning, Bill asked you guys to donate to the Lead Center. And I might mention that again, because the fact that they're doing this and they're really working to get people back on again. Of course, you'll notice that they had me do it from my home, and they're inviting the music groups to do it from the stage. That's all I'm saying. So hopefully I prove myself and I can get invited to the stage at some point. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for being with me. I want you to stay with me a few more minutes, but I want to end with a story that I always tell in my comedy routine, because I think it's important. It's important to recognize when we're with people, you know, to be able to enjoy them and not get angry. And it's a story about a couple who had been married for 25 years when this happened. And they had a huge argument one night and they stopped talking to each other. So they went to bed that night not talking to each other, which meant when they got up the next morning, they were not talking to each other. So the woman was getting ready to go to work. This was pre, COVID-19. And she put on a dress with the zipper on the back, and she couldn't zip it up because for 25 years that had been her husband's job assignment. Well, she's mad at him. She's not talking to him. So she just taps him on the shoulder, points at her back. And he's not going to do it because he's mad at her. So then she has to give him the look. Now, one of the presentations I do is about gender communication. And I want you to know that men and women are equal in their communication, even though they're different, okay? And the truth is we all have both male and female communication characteristics inside of us. And whatever combination we have, we are attracted to a person with the opposite combination to be our partners for life. And we're attracted to them because their strengths are our weaknesses. And they're attracted to us because our strengths are their weaknesses. And we're attracted to them for about a year. Anyway, so they weren't talking to each other, but there is one thing that women have that men don't, and that is the look. And I can't do that look for you because we have to be pushed to that point for the look, to come. You have to push us to that point. But I can tell you that this look can move children to school. Gentlemen, do you know the look I'm talking about? Yes, we're getting head nods.
Yes. No. Denial.
Yeah. Anyway, so so she gives him the look and he has to zip it up. And he's still mad at her, so he sees a way to communicate with her without talking. So he takes that zipper and he goes, zip, 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 zip. Yeah, and he feels really good because he has said what he had to say. Right. Well, of course, she's livid and she goes to work. And one of the other things women do is when you do something to upset us, we have to go to the files in our head of everything you've done to upset us since the day we met you.
Mm-hmm.
So she's sorting through her files, looking for patterns and plots, talking to her mother and sister because it's important that everyone is updated. And they have files on him also. And in the course of that conversation, they realized that he did something very similar about 15 years ago. Because they see a pattern forming. So then they tell her, whatever you do when you go home tonight, do not talk to him. So she went home that night, determined not to talk to him. She pulled in the driveway. His car was in the driveway already. She got out of her car, slammed the door, not going to talk to him. She goes to walk in her house past the car, and she looks down, and there he is underneath the car, working on the car. Bottom half hanging out. She sees a way to communicate with him without talking. So she goes down there and she goes zip, 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 zip. And now she's feeling really great because she has said what she had to say. So then she walked in the house and there was her husband. And you know what? Suddenly she felt like talking to him. She said, "What are you doing in here?" And he said, "I'm getting a Coke for Robbie. Help me with the car." She said, "I think he's going to need more than a Coke." So the moral of the story and the whole presentation is to lighten up, or I like to say, don't get your zippers in an uproar. But before we go, I would just like to do a Brady Bunch look again and say, that's the story of the Brady Bunch. Ha ha! Lead center, I sang. Bye, everybody.